Hi everyone! Once again, welcome to our YouTube channel, Research Ready and Student Matters Hub by Doclin. Now, meron tayong bagong lesson video. Yung past 3 lesson videos natin, diniscuss natin doon yung nature at characteristics ng quanti, quali at saka mixed methods research questions. Ngayon, ang ituturo ko sa inyo ay yung step-by-step procedures ng paggawa ng research questions, whether ito ba ay quanti, quali, or mixed methods. Ang ibig sabihin ba, ma'am, magbibigay ka ng mga examples? Yes, that's right. Magbibigay ako ng mga examples kung paano gawin ang mga research questions na to at kung ano yung basis natin paano tayo gumawa ng research questions. Siyempre, unang-una, ang research questions natin dapat nakabase to sa ating general objectives na nagre-represent do sa title natin. Kasi yun naman talaga yung aim natin. Masagutan natin yung general objectives at gagawa tayo ng specific objectives, which is our statement of the problem or research questions. So let's make an example of an actual research questions derived from a theory, and let us also make hypotheses and other parts of your research paper. So my research title is Pure Quantitative, and its influence of social support on academic achievement among high school students. Colon, a quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis. So, after I have studied this research title and I had a thorough review of literature, I made a decision that I'm going to use social support theory. And after reading social support theory, this is by Cohen and Wilst, I have found out that social support theory posits that social support is defined by the physical and emotional comfort. So commonly, it is defined by physical and emotional comfort. And I am the researcher. I have also read that this can come from family, from friends, or co-workers. So these are the constructs of social support theory. Now, if I will be the researcher, I will be using this social support theory, but I might choose only some of the important salient features of this social support theory. Such, I might use only emotional comfort, and I might only concentrate on family. So if I am going to make my research question, so let's say number 1, what is the status of emotional support given by the family, okay, to the family of high school students. So if this will be my research question number 1, this is pure quantitative, but this is descriptive research question. So I might use a standardized question in order to measure the emotional support given by the family to the high school students. Now, if I might make another research question, I might ask about what is the academic achievement of high school students for the past 2 years. And this is my limitation. So, I can get the data here by looking into their grade point average. So I can use document analysis. The first 2 questions are descriptive questions. If you wanted to know about descriptive and inferential questions, you might visit my past videos about it. So we are going to make now an inferential question. So we wanted to know what is the relationship or correlation of the status of emotional support of the status of emotional support and the academic achievement of high school students. Again, if you're going to look at the third question, this is what we call an inferential questions. Our independent variable here is the emotional support, And our dependent variable here is the academic achievement. So we have 2 descriptive questions and 1 inferential question. Okay, so if we are going to look into our research questions and we are going to make our hypothesis, so we can have only 1 hypothesis based on our inferential question, which is number 3. So let's copy paste this one. Let us make first a alternative hypothesis. So if we're going to make an alternative hypothesis, so we might say that there is a significant relationship between the status of emotional support and the academic achievement of high school students. But we are going to make a null hypothesis. We might say that there is no significant relationship. There is no significant relationship between the status of emotional support and the academic achievement of high school students. So we have already theory, we have research question, and we have hypothesis. So your hypothesis will depend on whether you're going to use null or you're going to use alternative hypothesis. So if we're going to conduct this one, our design will be correlational study since we are looking into the relationship of 2 variables. Now, if you're going to have a sample, you can have a sample of a random of 200 third-year high school students from various specific districts of a particular school. As I have mentioned, you can measure this one, the first research question, using a standardized test or instrument. Then you can get the grade point average of the students by looking into their records. And the third one, you can use the data on number 1 and 2 in order to get the relationship of both. On the statistical analysis, you have descriptive and inferential statistics. So descriptive for problem 1 and 2. Commonly, you're going to use mean. And then number 3, you can use Pearson R. Maaaring yung iba sa inyo ay nagtataka, bakit pa gumagawa si Ma'am or si Doc Lynn ng kanyang statement of the problem or research questions kahit dun sa mga past videos niya? Hindi siya very particular sa pag-i-include ng profile. Para sa akin, ang pag-i-include ng profile ay hindi naman, it's not a must or it's not always necessary to put statement of the problem such profile of the respondents or demographic profile in your research questions or SOP. Kung hinihingi ng pagkakataon, lalo na kung ang teoryang ginamit mo ay sinasabi na kailangan meron kang profiling, then you go on. But if the theoretical framework or models that you have used do not state that you have to use profile of the respondents, I don't think there is a necessity to include the profile. You can have profile but do not reflect it in your statement of the problem. If you want, you can include it in your research instrument, but you can append. This is only a foundation or a data na po pwede mong gamitin pag tinanong ka ng panel members. But it does not mean that you have to include it in your research questions or statement of the problem. In the same way, ganoon din sa pure qualitative, pwede kang mag-profiling kasi kailangan yan. Para ma-meet mo yung iyong inclusion at exclusion criteria na isinet mo para piliin yung participants mo. Pero it does not mean na kailangan mo rin siyang i-present sa yung statement of the problem at yung sa data analysis mo. Pwede mo rin siyang i-append. Yung tawag doon ay yung robo-photo. Pino-profile mo yung iyong mga participants para meron kang proof na na-meet mo yung iyong inclusion and exclusion criteria. Once again, for me, profiling of the respondents as part of the statement of the problem as a researcher and as I have read so many published articles, profile of the respondents is not always necessary. But I'm not saying that you cannot include it. I mean, you have to have a basis of all the variables you're going to include in your statement of the problem or research questions. Let us have another example of making a research question from a title. But this time, we're going to make research questions of an experimental research. A while ago, we have mentioned about correlational. It is a non-experimental research design. Now, let us have an example of an experimental research. For example, your study or your research title is all about effectiveness of e-learning modules in operations, of fractions for grade 5 learners. So this is your study. Obviously, if you have seen this title, it's experimental research. Now, as I have read literature and other paper concerning this title, I have seen that the most fitted theory that I can use is constructivism. Okay, so constructivism by Jean Piaget. Okay, so you can use that because it emphasizes that learners actively construct their own understanding. So since this is a module, and knowledge of a topic through experiencing and reflecting on real-world problems and situations. It also encourages active learning, as well as it also establishes prior knowledge. So it's very fitted on my research work. Okay, now if I am going to establish my research questions based on the understanding of constructivism, I might ask first, what are the mean scores of experimental and control groups on their pre-tests and post-tests? Okay, so it means I want to establish the prior knowledge of my respondents, which is the experimental and control group. And then I might ask, is there a significant difference in the pre-test and post-test scores of experimental groups? Okay, I will explain it later. So I wanted to know if kung meron bang difference yung score ng experimental group on their pre and post test. And then I might ask also, is there a significant difference in the pre-test and post-test scores of experimental group and control group of the experimental and control groups. So if you are going to look at my research questions, given that this is a quantitative research, on my first question, this is descriptive research questions, while the other two is inferential research questions. So if I have two inferential research questions, I have also two hypotheses. And if we are going to make an hypothesis on this, example, if we are going to make null hypothesis. Okay, so our null hypothesis here is there is no, okay, there is no significant difference in the pre-test and post-test of scores of experimental groups. Now, if we can have also another hypothesis, so we might say that there is no significant difference in the pretest of the experimental and control groups. So I have here two null hypotheses. Now, if you wanted to make your own alternative hypothesis, you may do so. Once again, this is my research title, and it's very obvious that this research title is experimental in nature. So, paano ako gagawa ng research questions? Ulitin ko, base ito sa theory, at ang ginamit nating theory ay constructivism by Jean Piaget. Yung dinidiscuss niya dito, yung active learning, that a learner can have an independent learning because our topic is all about modules, and it has also something to do with prior knowledge, which recognizes that learners build new knowledge upon their existing understanding. So these are my three research questions. First is what we call descriptive, and then the second and the third are called inferential questions. And our hypothesis is always based on our inferential questions. So based from these research questions, which is considered as an experimental research, let us try to identify what specific experimental design. So with this example, we can use pre-test and post-test control group design. This is considered as true experimental research. You can have a random sample of respondents, one group for experimental and the other group is for the control group. And then you can use, for the data collection, you can use pre-test and post-test researchers made examination, which is the pre-test is given prior to the intervention or given the modules and after the intervention on or giving the modules. So yung data analysis natin dito, you can use descriptive and inferential statistics. Okay, now let us make an example of a pure qualitative research. So shall we say our title is Exploring the Experiences of first generation college students. Okay, so to emphasize that this is pure qualitative, let's put the methodology. A qualitative study. Okay, so this is our research title. Now, making a research question on qualitative research is different from quanti. But, of course, you have to establish your theory. And based on my readings, I can use social capital theory. So, social capital theory by Coleman is all about the social networks along with the norms of trustworthiness that arise from the value. In the context of the first-generation college students, it can provide crucial support, resources, and information which facilitates their educational journey. Sa paggawa ng research questions sa qualitative, meron tayong tinatawag na central questions. Okay? Yung central questions nyo, commonly, you can have 3 central questions. But for each central question, you should have 5 sub-questions, which will be directly asked to your participants. Yung central questions, these are the one who reflects on your statement of the problem or research question. Yung sub-questions nyo, commonly it is reflected on your interview guide, not on the statement of the problem or on your research questions. So based from this, gawa tayo ng 3 central questions. Example, how do the first generation college students describe the role of family support in their academic journey? So, pag titignan natin, yung example natin, ang dating talaga niya is pure qualitative. Okay? Then, we can have another central question. And what challenges do first-generation college students face in building social networks within the college environment, or within the college environment, or within the environment. So this is our second central question. Our third is, how do the first generation college students utilize instructional resources to overcome academic and social obstacles. Once again, these are called central questions, and each central questions should have sub-questions which will be reflected on your interview guide. So all of these are called descriptive questions because they tend to describe something. On our first research question, the variables are perceived family support and academic journey. Second is the challenges in social network formation and the environment adaptation. While the third one is the utilization of instructional resources and overcoming social and academic obstacles. Given this one, we don't have hypothesis since this is qualitative research. Some schools are requiring assumptions instead of using hypothesis. So you might make assumptions out of your 3 research questions. What will be your research design? Since this is experiences or lived experiences, you can use phenomenological study. You can have a purposive sampling of your participants depending whether you are going to base it on a certain author. Creswell is requiring 5 to 10 participants, while others also are requiring 15 to 20, while also others are based on data saturation. So, depende sa inyo kung ilan yung pipiliin yung participants, pero meron tayong tinatawag na inclusion at saka exclusion criteria. You can have data analysis, but you are not going to use statistical treatment, but instead, you are going to use what we call thematic analysis. Thematic analysis is very crucial in doing qualitative research, and I'm going to have a separate video on how are you going to thematically analyze your qualitative data. Diyan natatapos ang ating lesson video kung paano kayo gagawa ng specific research questions depende sa inyong title at depende rin sa inyong theoretical framework na ginamit. Kasi pag nakagawa kayo ng research questions, doon nyo malalaman kung meron kayong hypothesis or meron kayong assumptions. Meron ba kayong natutunan sa lesson video na ito? Kung meron, please share your comments in our comment section para naman malaman ng iba na makakatulong ang video na ito sa paggawa nyo ng research questions. Maaari nyo ring i-like, i-share, at i-subscribe ang ating YouTube channel para updated kayo sa mga latest lesson videos. Always remember, we unlock insights to empower your minds. Thanks for watching, everyone. God bless. See you on our next lesson video. Bye-bye!